Then I'd like to make a motion that we add bills that have been sitting around for a long time. So we go 9, 10, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 25. You can see these are all bills that have been really since the first month of session. They're all jobs bills. The governor never got around to adding session. So I think in the spirit of bipartisanship, we should really add these in to the special session call. I think that'll prompt the committee chairman to start having hearings on these, since we know we're going to be in session the week after next. And obviously, instead of just worrying about legislators' jobs, I'm going to worry about our constituents' jobs. And doesn't in any way require us to bring them up. Obviously, they have to pass committee at least. But I think it'd be very important to add these. I think we all feel deeply about jobs bills, and I think that's something on a bipartisan basis we can all agree upon. And I would just make the motion that we add these bills to the call.
Okay. For a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Representative Suder?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Representative Barca, as you know, we've got great deference to our committee chairs, and I think this discussion belongs properly in their offices and with those committee chairs. They, like you said, they are still in the committee process, and if you'd like, we can certainly have that discussion, but to place that before an organizational committee is, I would say, improper at this time, especially given the timeline we have. So we're taking a look at all the bills done before the legislature, but to rush the committee process at an organizational committee hearing, I think is appropriate.
Well, that's a pretty ironic statement to me, given the fact that this reapportionment bill you want to bring up until Friday, nobody's seen. I still am not sure I fully understand. I'll ask some questions on that when we're done with this motion. But to the motion, the issue is that there's been no committee hearing on this reapportionment bill. It's a huge change. Obviously, I know my city council is very concerned about the fact that they worked hard to put together the ward lines and just passed a preliminary plan. And so it seems to me that if we can rush reapportionment, not following the statutory provision that we're supposed to wait for the ward lines to be drawn on the local level first, then if we can rush that, the issue I think our constituents would rather see rushed would be jobs-related bills. All of these bills I'm talking about, or the vast proportion of them, I mean, just to give you some idea, I mean, we're talking about building upon things that we passed last session on a strong bipartisan basis. We passed this refundable jobs credit. I think it's one of the most important things we did last session. You know, that's why when Frontier Airlines bought Midwest, that's why they located here, according to their CEO, expanding the angel investment tax credit. That's something I think we agree on a bipartisan basis. Each one of these bills, most of the bills here, expanding upon manufacturing, I know that's something important near and dear to both of our parties' interests right now, and I think these really will be very significant. And absent that, then the chances are we won't be back in session till the fall, unless you can tell me something different from the majority leader, but I assume you're not planning on being back. So why would we delay on bills to create jobs for our constituents instead of worried about preserving jobs for Republican legislators? And it just seems to me that we ought to be putting our constituents first. And I think these are all good bills. I see no reason why we wouldn't want to put those on the ball and bring forward and do something positive for the state.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, President Barca will remind this committee that Republicans are passing into law legislative maps that were done in the exact same time frame to the day as Democrats did back in 1983 in the special session they called. I've seen some of your comments saying it's a rushed process, it's unprecedented. That's just not the case. This was done in the exact same way in 1983 to the day. So I think it's good rhetoric, President Barca, but not exactly reality.
Well, we can talk about that one. I guess mine just to follow up. I mean, we can talk about that when we get to putting this bill off and other advisability of the timeline to bring this up. But I'm just saying, why not bring up these jobs bills? I mean, regardless of the circumstances, the reapportionment bill is not at a hearing. These bills are not at a hearing. But these bills, most of these bills have had hearings because we're just building upon things for the most part, that we passed last session. We're just trying to improve upon them and have a better framework so that more businesses can take advantage of this. And we've been trying since the first month in session. I met with the governor, I don't know, 5, 6 times. You know, each time I brought these things up. For some reason, he never put them on the special session call. So it just seems like, as I understood, in talking, I think with you personally, I know what's in Kramer and Suder, that we were going to try and work together more closely going forward. And what we're doing today certainly is going to help that process. But if we extend it to this call, they include these jobs bills, that'll at least build a little positive working relationship, and it's doing something positive for the state, something needed, something essential.
Further discussion? Not, clerk will call the roll.
Representative Fitzgerald.
No.
Representative Suder.
No.
Kramer. Ballweg.
No.
Barca.
Aye.
Halsey.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Further discussion on the original motion?